Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome. We are here for the latest episode of the show that has struggled to keep a format and a name. We're live and we're sort of on time because we rescheduled it to make sure that we were on time for the European Scout Show or whatever we're going to call it. I'm Quinny, your host, and joined as always by Fedo. Good to see you, mate. It's a big neck scarf thing you've got on, mate.
Yeah, mate, I'm a bit sick. I'm not a bit, but a lot. Very sick, but yeah, I think on Friday at Selhurst Park, watching Tottenham, I got really sick because I had to be kind of in a rush, so I didn't went. I went there without a jacket basically. So I was an English lad, had just a hoodie, but yeah, Selhurst Park is quite open, so it was quite windy, and yeah, so I got really sick there. Probably that's my consequences out of this weekend.
Rookie mistake. Not got the all-weather jacket. And joining us as well, as always, is Jeremy. Jeremy, my man, good to see you awake at the witching hour on Halloween.
Exactly. Just finished trick or treating here in Australia, so it's time to talk about football. I like the sexy voice, Fedo. You should be sick more often. get us more people in there.
Definitely, yeah, coming out there for sure. But guys, we're a little bit on a.
On a side note, I loved it. I might become a Crystal Palace fan. Fucking crazy.
Well, Palace is one of the stadiums I've got on my hit list to go to. Apparently, it's I've heard from many neutrals the best venue in England to go to as a neutral, for atmosphere and such. So good to hear you were enamoured with it.
I just very short topic on it. I think the atmosphere was not that great. Like Spurs fans did the whole game, like for real. Like you just could have heard the Spurs game. Crazy away fans, like one of the best away fans I've ever seen in my life, for sure. Up there with Dortmund and Schalke away fans. But just this, it's such an old stadium, and this atmosphere of the stadium is so cool, and it feels like completely like. I think they also filmed it there because it just looked the same. Have you seen Ted Lasso, AFC Richmond? I think that's the stadium they basically played in. So and it feels completely like that. It's amazing. It's one of the few stadiums where you could have gone there still at night, buying tickets at the box office in the stadium, like with all the tiles. It was amazing. It was so narrow. Like I've been to so many other stadiums where 80,000 people come in, 90,000 people, 70,000 people come in. I always had space to walk in, and there was never a crowd in the stadium. But this stadium was so narrow, so even if there's only 25,000 people in there, you couldn't move because everybody wanted to go there. So yeah, it was really fun.
Yeah, no, great to hear, man. Look forward to maybe getting some of that myself. But yeah, we missed out last week, and as we come on today, guys, we do have a bit of a limited schedule. Last night we had what is one of the pinnacle moments of world football of the season in general. We had the latest edition of the Ballon d'Or last night, and we had Lionel Messi going out there and scooping up his record 8th Ballon d'Or, which the World Cup win, I think, firmly just ended the argument. But then this Ballon d'Or now feels like it's just cemented him as the GOAT, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. What do you like? What do you guys think about the Ballon d'Or these days? Like, I mean, we're all a little bit over 21. So remember when the Ballon d'Or meant, like when you look at the Ballon d'Or from the 90s and 2000, it tells you the story of the year. Like when Nedved wins it or Zidane wins it. If you remember the football year. Oh yeah, Zidane wins it because he won the World Cup, and Nedved wins it when he wins the Champions League, and Cannavaro wins it in 2006 when he wins the World Cup. Do we feel like there's a bit of a detachment? Is that because Messi and Ronaldo were too good? Or to me, the 2000 no Iniesta, the 2013 no Ribéry kind of hurt my love for the Ballon d'Or. I love that player loves to win it. Like I love to see Benzema winning it, and even having who was it between in 2016, 17? Sorry, Modric. Sorry, and 18. I love to see those ones, but yeah, I feel like there was a moment where it wasn't anymore about what happened during the year, but just two players were way better than anybody else, and so they were just giving it to them. Like this year, it's a bit great that he won the World Cup, and he deserves it because he's finally won the World Cup. But when you look at his season versus Haaland's season,
yeah, I think Haaland should have won it, but
That's how I start the show. Tell us in the comment, what do you think of the Ballon d'Or these days versus before, kind of thing.
Yeah. Let's get that as a wee poll. We can do that on YouTube. I know how to do these things. My first thoughts, Jeremy, when you said that was, I do think Ronaldo and Messi just have dominated the entire football landscape, with the numbers they did, the rivalry they had, it did, for probably so how many Ballon d'Ors have they got? Messi's got 8, Ronaldo must have 6 or something, I guess, maybe 5. So you're talking
actually 6 now.
Yeah, something like that. So you're talking about the thick end of 15 seasons. Maybe 9 of them were probably quite justified, and then maybe the rest of them, it's quite like that legacy thing. Like you say, maybe Ribery should have got it one year. Xavi and Iniesta, perhaps, maybe, So I'm kind of with you, but I do think that, that, because for a lot of us, like you say, people that were of that age group that you talk about, I think all of us are, we didn't grow up with Pele. We didn't grow up with Maradona, maybe a bit of somebody like a Platini or a Van Basten or something like that. And yeah, there's R9, there's Zidane, but, Messi and Ronaldo are they've just went to the level that no one's ever seen in the history of football, if you know what I mean. And we've all been able to enjoy that, all generations kind of together, if you get me. So I just feel like it was a bit of a, and that. So for me, I still love the Ballon d'Or in that respect. I think I maybe pay a bit more attention, but to the other awards as a result, like the trophy, the Yashin trophy, these kind of things, because you kind of know, is it Messi or Ronaldo? Maybe is it a Benzema and Mbappe sneak in kind of thing at the moment, but it's probably the last year of the Messi-Ronaldo dynasty, isn't it?
For sure.
Yeah, you think so. I mean, unless he wins the next World Cup by some magic, and then maybe he deserves one even more, because if he's able to win it while he plays in Inter Miami or whatever he'll be at the time. But yeah, you think it's probably over for them, unless major international trophy. That's all they can win now, I guess.
Agree.
Speaking
We're
of
calling it your Ballon d'Or vote. So guys, you can vote for the Ballon d'Or in the live chat. Your Ballon d'Or vote.
I think Haaland should have done it. I'm so sorry to say that, but he won the treble. It was first. Nobody expected the treble. He won the treble. He won. He was so good his first season in the Premier League. Nobody expected that. Nobody expected that from him to be that great, and just a treble. What did Messi win? They won the Liga, and the Champions and the World Cup. Okay, he won the World Cup. That's fine, but isn't Ballon d'Or given out by L'Equipe?
It's a journalist, so it's only journalists that vote for it, I think.
Right.
Maybe some other people are involved, maybe coaches get a vote as well, top coaches, national team coaches.
No more
or
coaches.
something.
It was for a while they
not?
put coaches and players, captains, but now it's France Football, the newspaper who does that, and it's 5 journalists in each of the top 100 countries in world football. So the top 100 countries gives 5 journalists, and what they say in France, because it's created by a French person or whatever, is are you sure, Mike? Is that since it opened 200 top 100 and not only the European, there's on one hand corruption, on another hand, people like journalists in Asia, they don't care about football, they just care about players. So everybody's going to vote for Messi, or everybody's going to vote for Ronaldo or whatever. So they think it's not that it's skewed, but it changes the perception of football that, Europeans, Euro snobs, as you call them in Australia, might have.
Yeah. For sure.
I thought they removed the national team coach. But that's true, I guess, Mike. In a way, that's true. It's a bit back maybe to the story of the year now. That when you look at it, Modric 2018, then Benzema for Madrid, now Messi because of the World Cup. I guess, but I also agree with your point, Queenie. I think we had not lived through such a domination of 2 talents, and not only mercurial talents, 1 year, 2 year, like Ronaldinho. It was a bit more than that, maybe. But just the continuity and always better and always better and always better, and being able to perform at that level for that long, I guess somehow deserves a bit of recognition. I didn't see who win the best young player. I saw the keeper,
Bellingham.
which I wholly disagree. Okay, Bellingham, that's fine.
Yeah.
See, I have a problem with the keeper.
That's a precursor, but
Emiliano
because
the best keeper in the world?
I think he influenced the World Cup so heavily. And I was going to bring up Martinez individually, but I thought it was hilarious that he got a terrible reception. Obviously, it's in France. He was the goalkeeper against France in the World Cup final. And when he got brought up on stage to win his award, he got like booed and everything. It was, I thought that was good crack. And that was the kind of thing where I'm like, yeah, man, that's something that should be going on at this kind of thing. It's football, it's rivalry. And he's won it, I think, because of the World Cup display above all else. Aston Villa performances, whatever, right? That's fine. But it's really that World Cup effort, isn't it? And there's no one else, if you were to ask me who should have won it, I think he's probably the only one that I think you could make a case for. Every other goalkeeper, really, who's made the headlines as it was.
Ederson.
Okay, fair. On achievements and stuff, fair enough. Yeah, fair enough,
on talent plus trophy. But yeah, I guess that save at the 123 minutes give them the World Cup. So on that end, that's fair. Yeah, young player Bellingham. But the thing is, it's on the 22-23 season, right? Technically, it's not since September. So it feels like Bellingham is probably winning it since September more than. I guess he was okay at Dortmund.
A little bit, but he was a one-man machine at Dortmund, and they almost won the league last year. They bottled it right to the death, and he was a one-man team for them in essence, and we're kind of seeing that at Madrid. He's not a one-man team at Madrid, of course, but I did a video on my channel about him earlier this week in the run-up to the Ballon d'Or, because I'm thinking, after this Messi, Ronaldo dynasty goes away, Bellingham has got to be top-order Ballon d'Or contender for the rest of his life, probably, even when he's retired. This the way he's going on.
He went from Haaland, Mbappe to Bellingham. I feel like Bellingham is almost over both.
Yeah, Haaland is, if he can keep up the run. Yeah, I know he's on a wee barren-ish spell at the moment, where he's not scoring 3 goals a game and stuff. But it's one of those ones where that'll be a bit of a different rivalry, but because they're like pals, because they played together at Dortmund. It's not quite that Messi, Ronaldo across the country. And as well, when Messi, Ronaldo first started, what a lot of people forget is it was Mourinho v Pep, prime Mourinho v Pep. True. That was a huge part of a lot of that. Yes. What was going on at the touchline, never mind what was going on in the pitch as well. So it's a wee bit different, I think, all these rivalries, unless it is, again, either side of El Clasico it emerges from, or even 2 teams in England potentially, but I don't see that happening. Also we've got Haaland, but who else could be a Ballon d'Or contender in England, really?
Unless Bellingham was playing for an Arsenal or a team who plays as good football with good results.
Yeah.
But
wow, imagine that. Well, thanks. But yeah, Fedo, what did you think about young player or the goalkeeper? Any thoughts on it?
I think, to be honest, as you said, I can't say it better than you two did. Jude Bellingham was a shout, and he deserved it. This after September, I think it influenced a bit of the journalists still, because the vote was after it.
Of course.
I don't know if Haaland's still eligible for Young Player of the Year, but if he would have been, maybe they should have given him that at least, or something like that.
He won something. Yeah. He got that weird Striker of the Year trophy. Some Thai was made a joke about it, the one that they created for Lewandowski.
Exactly, he won that. And Emiliano Martinez, I think, is crucial for what he did for Argentina. I think he was even more crucial. I think for me, it was Cristiano Romero and Emiliano Martinez that won them the World Cup, in my opinion. They were absolutely phenomenal, and they still are in the club level. So that's completely fine. Courtois might have been, but I think Real Madrid didn't win anything. And I don't think Ederson is good enough to be in this consideration of being the best Yashin goalkeeper of the year, basically. Just out of talent, I don't think he's not top 3 goalkeeper in the world.
Fair. Top three defenders.
Yeah.
Yeah. Normally the team of the year is an interesting read, but I don't remember seeing that. Is there a team of the year?
What was the weird stuff as well that was put up while you're looking for the team of the year? Oh yeah, that Emi Martinez won best keeper, but in the Ballon d'Or rankings, Emi Martinez was behind Bunu.
Oh really?
Bunu finished 13th and Emi Martinez finished 14th in the Ballon d'Or ranking, but the best goalkeeper was given. Yeah, obviously different votes, right? But
The search result I'm getting is just Team of the Year is Man City, which is probably, again, another one of these cop-out awards. For not giving somebody from Man City the Ballon d'Or. The Gerd Muller Award, yeah, that was what Haaland got. Yeah, it's not actually an 11. The Socrates Award, which I think is a community one, because they were recognising Vinny Jr. for like racism and all that kind of stuff, So I think that Socrates Award's like community or grassroots angled kind of thing, perhaps. Inclusion.
Yeah, you'll get the FIFA Team of the Year, right? In
yeah, that's kind of what I thought. Maybe there would have been of the top nominated Ballon d'Or people, maybe, there would have been a best 11 or something, but no, there's nothing there. Just the rankings and stuff. But yeah, fair enough, guys. And thanks for everyone in the live chat that's voted for the Ballon d'Or. It's a tight 50-50 run at the moment between Messi and Haaland, so we'll leave that running for the rest of the show, or for at least a little bit longer, until we get a definitive winner, perhaps, from you guys that are joining us live. So yeah, Ballon d'Or, Copa Trophy, it's always a nice kind of point of the season. We're halfway through the Champions League group stages at the moment. We're like a third-ish through some of the domestic campaigns. And, yeah, roughly, give or take. And, on this show in its many different forms and guises and names over this season so far, there's been a lot of different transfers and kind of stories in progress that we've been tracking. And probably one of the most interesting ones has been, in general, the Bundesliga title race already, and most notably Harry Kane at Bayern Munich. And at the weekend, Bayern really did Bayern their way through an 8-0 victory. The one thing that really, I think, isn't getting spoken about enough is it was 0-0 at half-time. Yeah?
Yeah.
And down to 10 men.
You know what I mean? Eventually it becomes 10 versus 9. I get that, right? But if it's 0-0 at half-time, it's pretty remarkable.
Yeah, but I think it would have never left. It would have never become an 8-0. In a way, if they would have had only 10 men versus 10 men. The thing is, if you have like 9 men, the football pitch is way too big. There's so many spaces. And if you have players like Kingsley Coman, Mathys Tel, Leroy Sané, who are freaking fast and who could just overcompete these spaces, it's just run through to the goal. You have Harry Kane there scoring it. Bam. That's what basically happened, because you just had too many spaces. And I think people are praising Bayern way too much. I don't think they actually did a good game. I think Kimmich, I don't know what he did in the first 5 minutes. That's out of his mind. That you see that he is not a 6. He is a box-to-box, but he's not a 6. And yeah, Leroy Sané is extraordinary. Like, he is absolutely a phenomenon at the moment. I think he's the most informed player with Jude Bellingham at the moment, probably. Yeah, Harry Kane does Harry Kane things. Nothing more to add there, to be honest.
Yeah. And the other side of that has been Leverkusen, Xabi Alonso, and they are going from strength to strength as well. They played on Sunday, I think it was yesterday, wasn't it, against Freiburg. And, Freiburg are no pushovers. Darmstadt, you expect to be a much easier fixture. But being under that pressure of Bayern banging 8 out the day before, Leverkusen got the win themselves yesterday, and they finished 2-1 in the end with Leverkusen. And Wirtz was the star of the show. So, we're 9 games in, Leverkusen on 25, Bayern on 23. And like you say, Kimmich is not a 6. And Thomas Tuchel and Bayern's transfer policy, squad construction, whatever they've been up to, has been trying to solve that kind of riddle. And, Goretzka's out with a broken finger. Kimmich is now suspended for the next match. There's going to be a wee bit of disruption at Bayern. How long how badly do the wheels need to fall off at Bayern before Tuchel really does come under the spotlight, do we think?
I think if he doesn't win this derby on the weekend, I think it's gonna be there's people coming out of the shadow and talking about that the system at the moment is not as Bayern-like, and there's already people saying also Uli Hoeneß saying, why the hell did we fire Julian Nagelsmann and all this stuff. So there's also these voices already are around since some time now already, like 1.5 months, 2 months, even from Uli Hoeneß. Like, come on, just don't say it. You're the president. Don't ever say something like that. It's just stupid to say something like that. Even if you think it, don't say it. And yeah, but I think if he doesn't convince against Dortmund, the thing is, Tuchel always convinces against Dortmund because Tuchel is this kind of guy. He's not he's very, very good for specific games because he's extraordinarily intelligent in analyzing the opponent and how to do with the opponent. I don't think he's a specifically good season coach in a way, like like Conte, for example, or Mourinho in his prime, but he's a very, very good game. This is the game we have to win and knockout stage coach. That's why also they bought him, I think, because they wanted to go far in the Champions League. Then something happened, and yeah, they didn't go far. But he's exceptionally on that, and not as great on the day-to-day business, in my opinion. And that's why it's gonna be very interesting to see how they're gonna compete against Dortmund. Because if he becomes the Tuchel that I believe he is, then I think we're good. But if he doesn't, people will come out and say, okay, a moment, maybe we need to rethink what he's doing. Maybe we need to rethink the squad. What are we having? Where do we have the problems? And then all the discussion starts from the beginning.
Anything for you, Jeremy?
No, sorry,
Bayern,
I was half listening, half looking. I think we know how Tuchel is, and I think even when he's very good, it's just he's causing issues with his communication, with his attitude, and with the thing that he says that he shouldn't be saying. And I think at Bayern right now, everybody is talking too much, and every time it happens at Bayern, then you forget to look at what's going on the field and to sort of like take the wins and know that you can work on the one that aren't doing well. And I think it's in the past 5 years now, it's been the case. So obviously Tuchel isn't the right guy because he's not federating everybody in the club, which is I think what they need to figure out right now, a way for the two the two sides of the Bayern directorate to find a coach that everybody is happy with, and then from there on they'll be able to work. But for the past 5 years, it looks like half of the club works against the other half, and as long as you don't sort this out, like you can put any coaches. I don't see how it works. Like he could win La Bundesliga and the Champions League, and he would still have half of the club saying that he's not good enough. So
fair.
I think it's a deeper issue.
But looking at it, like Fedo, you said there a moment ago, if he doesn't do well in the derby against Dortmund, then the naysayers might start to come out. But like I just mentioned, some key players missing. That game is the 5:30 kickoff on Saturday, so I'm sure there'll be lots of people tuning into it. I know Sané is electric at the moment. Kane's fantastic, but without Kimmich, without Goretzka, you've only really got Leimer as a midfielder. Dortmund are not amazing right now, but equally, like, midfield is their strength, so if they're getting guys like Julian Brandt into space on the ball,
Kimmich is out.
A few other guys. That's what I'm saying. He's suspended.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
exactly.
Like I mentioned earlier, he's suspended. Goretzka's broke his finger. You've only got Leimer. So, I know Tuchel's good in these kind of, playing against the opponent situations, but ultimately coming into the weekend, it does look like it's Dortmund's game to be had, I think, They're at home as well.
Especially at
home.
home. Yeah, I still think Bayern's going to win. It's going to be like a 1-2, something like that, in my opinion. And the thing, as you said, who are you playing in the midfield? Because Conny Leimer, okay, you're going to play him. But who are the other two you're going to play in the midfield? Okay, Jamal as a 10, 100%. And then probably they're going to play Thomas Müller as well. So they play with two 10s, basically. And Conny Leimer is the box-to-box that actually covers everything. Kim and the list stay more behind so that they take a bit more responsibility as the 6. And then probably he has to play Mazraoui and Davis because we literally don't have anybody else to play. So problem is Mazraoui and Davis are also very forward. So I am expecting Kim and De Ligt not to go beyond the half line because we can't secure in the back. And I don't hate Conny Leimer. I think Conny Leimer on his day is as equal as Goretzka and as Kimmich is at the moment. Yeah. So I don't hate Conny Leimer at all. And I don't think we have a problem there. It's just going to be very offensive. And so we need somebody to be very alert that they, especially in transition when Dortmund then attacks, that they are going back together and defend properly. That's the only issue I see there, to be honest. Because the trident in front is huge, and they're gonna score against Dortmund, especially because Kobel is gonna be out, I think, as well. He's injured, so Kane, Sané, and Coman are gonna score against Dortmund. That's for sure. And so the only thing is, we just have to see that we don't concede more than we score, basically.
Fair.
And I think that's good that De Ligt is playing in a way. I'm not still sure that De Ligt actually got his position back, because he didn't play extraordinarily good in the last 2 games when he played from the beginning. I think he has to play still because Upamecano is still a bit injured. So, but in this match, it's very good because De Ligt is better defensively than Upamecano. And so, yeah, in this, I think anyways, De Ligt would have played, even if Upamecano would have been fit. But yeah, let's see what Tuchel does. I'm excited to see what he does. He always comes out with some very strange ideas.
Yeah, he definitely does. And I think, looking across the table, I do expect Bayern to drop points in this game, no two ways about it. I think Dortmund will see this as a huge chance to leapfrog them in the table. And another team that's quite close to, I think a lot of Sorare managers have got a lot of good cards that have moved around and maybe are at their squad at the moment. Leipzig have got a pretty big injury crisis themselves at the moment. It goes from bad to worse. Dani Olmo is now out until probably January or something with a shoulder problem.
Yeah.
So,
Dani Olmo.
Xavi Simons is doing good, but he's kind of blowing hot and cold. I don't know if he can really carry that, attack without, Szoboszlai sold and Kunku sold. You then get injuries like this kind of, it's a very thin attacking option. So they're in 5th at the moment, just behind Dortmund. And, again, I'm just kind of looking at the top of the table as we're talking about it. But it's tight up there. And I think Dortmund will see this as a huge opportunity to kind of break away from some of the pack and get closer to Leverkusen.
By the way, Kini, just read on Kicker that Goretzka is supposed to start against Dortmund. So it should be as I said.
There you go.
I jinxed that into existence by saying he wasn't going to play there. Did you see what I did? Yeah. 5 minutes ago, I was like, he won't play. He broke his finger. So I jinxed it into happening. How to win playing Sorare.
It's going to be the same starting 11 I said, only that it's that of Thomas Müller, probably Goretzka, not probably Goretzka is going to play. So you have Lima Goretzka back, and then you have Musiala as a 10.
I'm not too sure on the Kevin Campbell one, Mike. I'm away to check that out now. Because I had him in a team. He let me down in 240 actually for threshold. Due to load management, Kevin Campbell is not in the squad. He's played a lot of 90 minutes. So that's the official line from the official RB Leipzig there. So that's just a minute management situation. I'm just noticing that Werner started at the weekend. Good to see Big Timo back in action. But yeah, Bundesliga is definitely, I think, the Premier League is always kind of like the one that's dominating the headlines, dominating the timeline. It's got the biggest and best teams, of course, with the most money. But outside of that, I think it's continuing that, the Bundesliga is definitely the most neutral, friendly title race to kind of, follow along with. And Dortmund v Bayern at the weekend is going to be a mad match. It'll be good to watch.
Normally, in recent year, it was a Bayern dominant show, but this year it's been pretty good, to be honest.
Yeah, for sure. And in the kind of vein of like the new kind of name of the show, or the new kind of, because we were trying to do this for like the drafts primarily, where we could try and maybe unearth some good like draft picks. We could talk around the draft modes and use that as something to kind of, build the show around, as it were. And we did okay with it at times, right? But it was kind of hard to do because we didn't always have the drafts available. They were open, but we were maybe missing some cards, or, it was hard, right? But now Sorare will be changing it, so we don't have access to the common drafts if you've got more than 10 cards of any colour, which is whatever, cool. But we thought we would try and yeah, something like that. So we thought we would try and put the show into a kind of scout vein, because we're also paying attention, watching a lot of the football around Europe, and that's kind of the main nub of the show. And we thought we would try and give a wee segment into, at least to finish off the show. And this week we'll be kind of debuting it. So bear with us as we get through it. But the name we're working with at the moment is the Scout Shout. Okay. So we're looking for a player each normally, where it could be any size, any age, could be whatever is going on. But somebody was maybe caught the eye, and maybe for someone we should all be watching out for, maybe for the next couple of weeks, maybe next season, maybe the rest of this year, whatever it might be. Wee bit last minute, guys, but does anyone have theirs ready to go?
Yeah, I got a little Frenchy one. I think I told you guys as well in the in the chat not too long ago. He's a weekend utility guy because he doesn't play midweek, although his teams is in the European competitions. And it's not a young one, but it's one that's going to be good for this season. And then who knows where that goes. It's Ruben Aguilar, the right back for RC Lens. RC Lens doesn't have a lot of players with utility. Aguilar is one, Frankowski is another one, Mawasa, but he doesn't play. And front, they have Gilavogi. Unfortunately, I have him, but he's stuck on the bench, and I don't know he's going to play. But Ruben Aguilar is back at his level, and more importantly, RC Lens are back at their level. So clearly, Frank Hez has figured out his rotation right now, and Aguilar is never going to play in Champions League or Europa League, wherever they end up, although they're doing okay right now. But he's playing every single weekend, and Lens, after a very complicated start of the season, is back onto it, and is actually now playing the way they should play. And Aguilar, when he was at Monaco at some point, was a beast. And then Van der Sar came in, and he didn't have any more game time. And then slowly but surely, he just stopped playing and then was asked to go. But now that he's back, that he's in the starting 11, and Lens is a team that likes to play football, that sees a lot of the ball, and he's got like heaps of crosses. He gets the ball up and down the whole game. They're struggling with goal scoring absolutely right now, Lens, so that's not helping him. Otherwise, he'd get many more assists because he puts the ball well. You know, those kind of the proper right backs or the proper wing backs that when they whip the ball wherever they are onto the right wing, he always ends between the 6-yard box and the penalty kick. He's that kind of player. So he's going to get some decisive for sure, keeping on playing like this. But yeah, the last couple of games that he's played with Lens, he's got some pretty solid AA, of course. A couple of weeks ago, I think he did get an assist, if I'm not mistaken. And I think he's going to smash it. And he costs, not a lot, even less this week with the price of the ETH and how everything changed a little bit. But yeah, I think it's 0.002 for his rare card. Of course, his super rare card has a bit of a reaction to his last couple of scores right now. Yep. But I'm sure some people will be happy to negotiate down. But yeah, I thought about him. There's a couple of other players that I bought this weekend from France, but I think Aguilar is probably the one that feels like in the next, until Christmas at least, and bar any injury, he's going to rack up some very good scores on the weekends.
Nice. I like that a lot. Ruben Aguilar is a player that I've been kind of following. Like you say, he used to be a bit of a beast at Monaco, and an attacking fullback that can break 90 points as regularly as he has done. It's always a great shout, getting 60 plus, 70 plus there 4 times out of 7, which is decent. I think for a fullback, it's a good ratio. Have you gone, Fedo, or will I go next?
You go next.
I'll go next.
Okay. You can go next.
Now, I can't take full credit for this. I never would, of course, unless it was my own. But this guy was brought to my attention by my friends at the Sorare Odyssey. If you don't check that podcast out, be sure to, if you love some good old dry humour. But Mika Marmol is a former La Masia kid, Barcelona youth product, and he's got a card from when he played last season at PK's team Andorra. And if you look at his season, I'll show you this the way I want to show you it, right? So if we just look last season for Andorra, he was a really tidy under-23 centre-back, a lot of good promise. This season, he's moved to Las Palmas, who are not doing that good, are not a good team, right? But he's playing most weeks, and he's still scoring pretty decent, and it gets even better when you see the lack of clean sheets and the amount of goals that they concede, that he's still pulling some of these scores up. He's still U23, he's 22 years of age, he gets lots of good passing statistics, he's a pretty good defender as well. Under 23 until 2025. At Las Palmas, he's not really that useful beyond a cap player. At 54, is even 240. He's maybe a wee bit punchy for that, but this is a guy that's like genuinely really good. He's made a great step up. He showed a lot of promise at Segunda Division, or the Hypermotion League, whatever we're calling it now. He's made the step up into a really bad team and shown a lot of great green shoots already. We'll see how well he does for the rest of this year, but I think he'll be moving away from Las Palmas in the summer probably. And if he went to like a Seville or a Betis or a Valencia, somebody like that, and got these kind of minutes and concedes less goals, the point difference can be quite incredible. And it's under 23 until 2025 is not a bad shout. Mika Marmol.
Pretty good.
Sorare Odyssey shout. But we've been watching him for a while. Sorare Odyssey brought him to my attention when he was at Andorra, so he's a good one that's developing. Feda, what's your scout shout for us this week?
Fedo in the spotlight.
I think that the one to go for, one to buy, if you have a budget as well, and if you want to invest in something, I would buy Fabio Vieira from Arsenal. I think he's absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Every time he goes in, he's brilliant. I think he is better than Bruno Fernandes if you want to have a type of player that is close to him. And he's absolutely phenomenal. He's a magician. In my opinion, he's a magician, and he's gonna get his time because every time he comes in, he plays good. Arteta likes that. He's also gonna have some midweek if they come in, and I think you can get him for £50, £40, £45 for a rare. I think there's nothing wrong with that. Crazy guy, even for the next 5 years, if you want to hold him for that long. Probably even longer because he's still 23 only. Yeah, I really, really love Fabio Vieira, and I hope he makes it. And I think if he doesn't make it this year, he's going to get a loan, probably. But I think he's going to make it at Arsenal because he just needed one season of getting used to Prem and how to train with them and everything. Because, of course, he came from Liga North, which is not as physical as the Prem, obviously, because let's be real, in the Prem there's so many players that could not play on a technical level as they do in Liga North, but just have the physicality aspect on them, and he got into the mood now, and he's a lovely player, and I think he's gonna shine, and he also has the high ceilings, as you see.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's a player, when you watch him, he's very much Premier League title challenger level, and it's just about getting that space in the starting 11. That's all you're waiting for, because AA is there. He breaks into the box, he beats people, he plays attempted assist passes, he takes shots, phenomenal. He makes tackles, interceptions, he kind of does a little bit of everything, so a team that should finish in the top 3 for the kind of semi-foreseeable future, the way things are going at the moment, just to kind of, just to say some words. 50 quid for a rare, I think it's great bang for buck, man, for sure. I'm all about that. Especially with such a well-documented team, it's way easier to track rotations and predicted 11s. Oh yeah, he's going to play the Europa League this weekend, or oh no, he's going to start the derby, or he'll play against Wolves, or whatever's going on. It's a bit easier to keep on top of. So yeah, I love that. Great guy who passes the eye test as well.
He is a magician. He's a magician, for real.
Very good. Love it. Well, guys, I think that's all we've got time for this week. Thanks to everyone that's joined us for the latest iteration of this. So thanks very much. Guys, it's been an absolute pleasure. Have fun this midweek, everyone. Good luck catching up with us. And we'll see you next week. You can say bye if you want. I don't mind.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Au revoir.
Bye.